another briefing. Apologies in advance if you hear my cat in the background. She's very vocal, especially in the mornings. We're looking at the visible satellite here for the Bay Area to start out. And what we're noticing is there's some patches of coastal stratus, coastal fog, if you will, right along the inner Bay Area, into San Francisco, into parts of the East Bay. Not much over the South Bay, well, there's some over Monterey Bay into Salinas, just a few little patches. North Bay is mostly clear. There was some along the North Bay coast earlier, just a couple hours ago, and that's been wiped out by a northwest flow, mixing in drier air, slightly drier air from the upper levels. And that dries out the fog along the North Bay, particularly along when you're downslope of these hills. It's kind of hard to show from this angle because it's a very small scale terrain effect that we get. But basically, there's your more zoomed in satellite, and here's our more zoomed out satellite picture. This is looking basically at the whole Northeast Pacific and the whole western third of the continental United States, if you will. And what we can see on this one here is you see a deep cutoff low off of the California coast. Still, like, I'm guessing, I think this is about 1,000 miles offshore or something, but you can see there's a lot of convection, actually. Some bands of what would be pretty heavy precipitation. We don't have radar coverage in this area out over the ocean, but I mean, from the satellite, you can see some pretty respectable cloud bands here that are probably producing precipitation offshore. Some of that is expected to move into Northern California over the next couple days. I believe by Friday we'll start to have much higher chances for precipitation in the Bay Area itself as this thing makes its way down. See a little shortwave trough here associated with that system. You have a little shortwave ridge that brought us somewhat warm conditions, especially inland over the last couple days. At the coast, we've had more of a pronounced onshore wind and some morning fog in some areas, and that has kept temperatures cooler. Even in the afternoon when it's sunny, we've had plenty of onshore wind. That pretty strong wind blowing off that cold Pacific water can keep things pretty chilly at the coast. So let's move on. Just looking real quick at this height analysis. This is basically to put it very simply, this is showing you basically the temperature of the air columns, or at least the relative to average, the temperature of the air columns at 18,000, in between 18,000 feet and the surface, if you will. Little cutoff low out here. This is just confirming what we were seeing on the satellite. Here's our cutoff low. Here it's being kind of carved out by this high over Alaska. See, nothing happens in a vacuum. This is all connected. And then you have this kind of shortwave high pressure system being kicked off to the east. So you're seeing more clouds, more wind, eventually some rain for Northern California. Have a big, two big upper lows here. These are technically pieces of the polar vortex into parts of eastern Canada, and even clipping just a couple days ago, clipping northeastern United States. Some pretty cold air there for this time of year. Now we have more of a zonal west to east jet stream flow across most of the country, with this troughing coming into the west coast. It's always important to get a picture of what's going on with the atmosphere right now before you dig into computer model guidance, so that's why I'm showing that. Now, with that out of the way, with a solid understanding of what's going on with the atmosphere right now, let's go into computer model guidance. I'm going to start out with the high resolution rapid refresh model for the next couple days for precipitation. Let's do precipitation type and cloud cover. So as we put this projection into motion, mind you, this is just a computer model projection. This isn't what's going to happen exactly. And you can see by this evening some scattered showers, maybe even thunderstorms from potentially the Reading area, the Shasta area. I mean, you have plenty of cold air coming in aloft, so you have instability, you have positive buoyancy. The parcels will be able to rise all the way up to potentially 30,000 feet, potentially higher. And you have the lift, the orographic lift. It doesn't take a lot to get lift in this area because you have all these mountains here, and that enhances uplift. That provides that little kick to get the parcels up to their levels of free convection, to get the parcels up to the point where they will saturate and grow into clouds, and then with enough positive buoyancy, they will keep growing. If the air aloft is cold enough, the parcel stays warmer than its environment, you get these thunderstorms. When you get that right combination of the instability or buoyancy, moisture, and lift. So there are some thunderstorms firing up tonight over Northern California, just parts, like not, just the areas near the mountains, particularly the Reading area, it looks like. I'm going to go into tomorrow morning, some scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms again for some areas tomorrow afternoon. I mean, you could start seeing some scattered showers in the Bay Area tomorrow night, maybe, on this model. And then this kind of only goes until Friday morning. The NAM will go out a little further. Let's look at that. And that shows pretty widespread showers on Friday afternoon. And then Saturday looks like it's going to be even wetter. But we'll have to go to the global European model for that. And basically what this is showing here is that cutoff low. It's going to bring that first round of showers Thursday and Friday. And then as we go into early Saturday here, here's that actual trough in the jet stream with that even stronger, colder low that's actually attached to the main flow of the jet. I have another one back here even. But this is plenty of cold air coming down straight from the Gulf of Alaska. This is going to be a nice polar air mass making its way in with some decent precipitation. I mean, you get flow that's going to bring a decent amount of moisture here, and you get this lift from the from this upper low. I mean, originally you just get a few showers with that cutoff flow because it's mostly orographically enhanced lift in the mountain near the mountains. But when you get like a big upper low, you're gonna get that lift regardless of if you have mountains or not. You're going to get that extra push, that extra escalator ride for the parcels, escalator ride to the level of free convection, as my professor Stephen Corfidi would say. So, pretty exciting to see this in April, especially after that record warm, dry March. We could really use this now. I mean, take this with a grain of salt. This is a deterministic model projection a few days out, but it's looking pretty good. I mean, there are those showers Thursday and Friday with that little cutoff, and then that pretty respectable cold system and wet. Plenty of moisture linking up with this for some decent rain and some snow in the Sierra. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like a February type dump, but this looks pretty decent. I mean, let's look at real quick at the precipitable water for the column here. I mean, yeah, that's a decent little feed of moisture. It's not like a atmospheric river Pineapple Express type, even though technically it's a little I mean, you can call this a sliver, but I don't like to use the atmospheric river term loosely because if it gets overused, then people don't take it serious when you have something major like this. Another major stream of moisture moving into Hawaii, but sometimes we get these in the winter, and that's like a respectable AR. This is a little piece of moisture, some moisture. That's gonna link up nicely with this upper low, the dynamics here. Give us some good rain. Now, for the sake of it, show a couple more things. I'll show you guys don't need to stay. Anyone who wants to hop off can hop off at this point because I just start to ramble. But I'm just curious about what the European model's projection for snow here. And yeah, I mean, this is model guidance. Take it with a heavy grain of salt. But this wants to put 2 to 3 feet into Tahoe. I don't. Let's look at the national blend of models because I'm not really buying that European model projection here. I think this looks more realistic. 4 to 8 inches for lake level, and that's still a lot for April. And then up high in the highest peaks, maybe you could get over 2 feet. But yeah, that Euro projection, I think that's a bit overdone to say the least. I mean, yeah, that's way overdone. I'm sorry. And it's lower resolution. It's global model. You want to look at the national blend of models. You want to look at the higher resolution models for that kind of stuff, especially this far out. Well, just gonna finish this off with a look at high temperatures, projected high temperatures for the Bay Area over the next few days. Saving time. I'm not gonna look at lows. I figure most people care about more about the highs, anyways. So looking at today, still some, I'd say 60s coast side, 70s for most areas in the Bay Area, maybe touching 80 for the warmest inland spots. Then we go into tomorrow, more widespread 70s. Warmest spots probably mid 70s, not warmer than that. Coast stays in the 60s. Then we go into Friday, start to get a little more showery, maybe 50s for some coastal areas, 60s elsewhere. And then you go into Saturday, look at that. Even far inland, areas that are around 80 today, maxing out maybe in the low 60s. I mean, you'll probably have 50s for a lot of coastal areas, and I mean, not warmer than 62 Livermore, 62 Sacramento. That's chilly for April. And I mean, look at that into Sunday, and then we start to warm back up as we go into next week. But this is pretty respectably chilly. For the heck of it, let's look at what the lows are being projected. Yeah, it's pretty chilly. I mean, you get mild because you get like a lot of cloud cover and rain next couple days, and then in the Sunday morning, I mean, you could be talking 30s for the coldest inland valleys of the Bay Area. But the newer, it's not the same. I mean, you could be talking 30s inland, you could be talking 40s for most areas, maybe 50 right along the water. That's pretty chilly. And then look at that, maybe even colder in Monday morning. So yeah, something to watch. So I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching this. I hope you were able to get something out of it, and I'll see you next time.